Hi, it's me, Marilyn, with Two Awesome Women, and today we're going to make a tattered flower embellishment. Whitley, I know you're not a fan of embellishment, but I feel like I really need one of these for my big manly black coat because it's so big and manly. I made a few of these for Christmas, so I've learned a few tricks, and I'm going to show you the way I do it, which isn't exactly the way that everybody else does it. So you need a scrap of fabric that's about 4 inches wide and a yard long. It doesn't need to be exact. You can see that I cut this one a little bit unevenly, but that's okay. We're going to trim it up at the end anyway. And you need a button and some thread and a sewing machine and a safety pin. And this is how you do it. The first thing you do is you fold the scrap of fabric in half and you iron it. Okay, now I have the sewing machine all set up. This is where I changed the way the flower is made. With the instructions that most tutorials have, what you do is you just sew a straight line here and then you pull a thread to make it gathered. I have a really hard time with that. Every time I tried that, I broke the thread. So I do it a little bit differently. Here's how I do it. You want to sew along the folded edge of your fabric. And so I'm just going to get it started. We want a nice big stitch, so I have that set right. And then I fold the fabric over and make a little pleat like that. And just sew over that. It's messy, but it's kind of supposed to be. And I just do that randomly all along my whole length of fabric. Okay, so now you go and get your hand sewing needle and you thread it, and you get a button. And we're going to turn our ruffled piece of fabric into a flower. You twist it into a circle. And then I like to hide my knot on the inside of the circle. But just stick your needle all the way through both sides and then make a stitch and twist it around again. Then stick your needle through the outside here and stitch through all the layers. And then come back through again. Twist the fabric around. Then come through. You just keep doing this over and over again. Through the outer layer, then back through all the layers to kind of hold it together. Through the outer layer, then back through, and you do that until it becomes really hard to go through all the layers. But I think this fabric's thin enough that I'm going to be able to go through all the layers the whole way through. Some fabrics are harder to work with. This really light satin fabric is easy to work with. And it makes a really pretty flower too. We're almost done. And then it won't go all the way around again, so I'm going to make a couple of stitches here at the end to hold everything together, just through the two outer layers here. I'm going to tie this loose thread here. Cut this off. Okay, it doesn't look much like a flower at this point, so what I'm going to do is just kind of give it a severe haircut. And it will earn the name Tattered by the time I'm finished here. So decide where you want the center of your flower, and that's where we're going to put our button. I think right there. So just run the needle up from the back. And there you go. Make a little stitch and tie that off. And I have a fabric flower. Now I'm going to sew a safety pin onto the back of my flower, and I can pin that to anything, and I will pin it to my big black coat, and that is a flower.